off the production line, and Colin Patterson was there to witness the end of an era.
This is the last typewriter ever to be built in the UK. More than 5.8 million have been made at this factory in Wrexham, but with demand having fallen to 30 a day, it's the end of the line for a product with a long and illustrious history.
Good typists are always in demand, and so are typewriters, an English invention in the reign of Queen Anne. But the first commercial model was not made until 1873.
But nowadays, with computers so dominant in the workplace, who's been buying these outmoded machines? Apparently, the answer lies in the US.
Funny enough, we've asked ourselves the same questions many times, but I think predominantly it's the legal profession where they need multiple copies.
But not in numbers large enough for it to remain economically viable. And the honour of completing the UK's final ever typewriter fell to a man who'd been putting them together for 23 years.
If people ever ask me, I can always say to them now as a strange question that I've always made the last typewriter in the UK. I could, if I tried, make one blindfolded.
And then the big moment.
And here it comes. This is the last ever typewriter to be made in the UK.
But that's not the end of the story. This typewriter's deemed to be so historically significant, it's been donated to the permanent collection of the Science Museum in London to join a replica of the original machine.
First and last are what museums like to have because it's a very strong message about the progress of a technology. That's really why we want to have it.
It may have progressed, but long gone are the days when typing was so popular it was a competitive sport.
They're off in the international typewriting competition, and the kings and queens of the keyboard are knocking the stuffing out of international typewriter.
Or when French and Saunders could do sketches highlighting the role of typewriters on grandstand.
Lined up for you this afternoon. Well, we've got 3 race meetings from Doncaster. The big race of the afternoon is the 2:15, the handicap mile.
No longer an office essential, now even the most modern example is instantly a museum piece. It's a stop for QWERTY UI Alp. Colin Patterson, BBC News, Wrexham.
A bit of that?
Yeah. I think the last one was a golf ball typewriter, which was revolutionary, of course.
Yes.
Not your standard clickety-clack 1940s model that we have here. Oh, I keep every time I do. That's what used to drive me so nuts, was when the keys would get all jammed together and then the ribbon would stop working and then it would punch a hole in the paper. Here we are.
People have sent in some emails on this this morning. OK, so earlier I said if you're under the age of 20, you may not know what a typewriter is. Sophie says, I'm 18 and had a typewriter up until I was at least 8. It was one of my absolute favourite possessions, and I know people my age still enjoy using typewriters.
Well, Jonathan's an art teacher. He says he uses them every single day. He's got 3 in his room. Pupils use them to write notes for their sketchbooks. They love them because the text looks amazing. And because they can't delete things or use spell checker, they really have to think about what they're putting out, which is quite clever.
And you used to be able to get that sort of white tape, didn't you, which you could then put into the typewriter and go back and delete your words,
Yes.
But it was ever so cumbersome. Sally says that her 6-year-old daughter has asked Father Christmas for a typewriter for her present. I'm not sure where she heard about them, says Sally. I was so surprised that she even knew what one was.
I love the ding at the end of the line. It's marvellous. Still to come on Breakfast this morning, the comedian Al Murray will be here.
And the Greeks have all those old stories. They have that myth about a bloke called Hercules who did 12 jobs and paid tax on all of them. Obviously, that's not...
He'll be telling us about spending nearly 20 years as his alter ego, the pub landlord, and why he's taken the Gov out of the bar and on the road.
Yeah, I think the Gov had something to say about typewriters, wouldn't he? Eh?
Oh, he probably loves them.
Things aren't what they used to be.
Oh,
no.
Time now to get the news, travel and weather where you are. We'll see you in a moment. Do the ding.
I can't get to the ding.
It takes so long to get to the ding.